we have a new balance update, and honestly, this is one of the dude, this patch is awesome. And we have a little bit of a leak for the next major update, getting 6 new relics, and they're super cool. So let's go through everything and summarize everything, because this patch is honestly, I'm glad, because we haven't really gotten anything in terms of balance for a while, nothing interesting in this, at least. But this is very good, unless you're warrior. If you're warrior, you didn't get anything. Boom. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Go to my Ko-Fi if you want to support my content. Go to my Twitch to watch me live every morning. See you guys around. I don't see you guys around. We're going. This is not the outro. Let's go. There you go. That's better. All right. So first of all, let's talk about the relics. Okay. New relics. Relics preview. Next major update. A few of them are kind of boring. Okay. Relic 1, 2, and 3. Relic 1. Enemies you interrupt are inflicted with a unique damaging debuff. Okay. I mean, that could be interesting maybe for Mirage and Spellbreaker in PvP and Warver's World probably, but doesn't seem like insanely. Maybe cool, dude. Imagine Condi, Condi Spellbreaker. Whoa! But also sounds kind of annoying. You know, getting interrupted doesn't really feel very good. And then you're gonna get also a Condi. Oh, that sounds horrible. But whatever. Well, I guess it's gonna be a damaging debuff, not exactly a Condi. So probably just you're gonna be able to do more damage to this person. So probably it's not gonna be Condi specific. Yeah. Relic 2. Upon using a stance skill, cleanse conditions from yourself. There you go. That's, if you have a lot of stances, good way to cleanse yourself. Probably good for certain builds in PP. Relic 3, upon using a cantrip or meditation skill, gain protection. That sounds nice as well. It's only for you, so probably a PvP and Warver's World relic as well. Relic 4, grant yourself a stack of might when you grant might to yourself. Gain increased crit chance while you have might at above the stack threshold. That sounds super interesting for a build that is really lacking in terms of crit. But also is giving a lot of might. I'm guessing, honestly, Willbender, probably this could be good. They're famously, they use like everything on assassins to get to the crit cap, so maybe this could be kind of cool. That being said, it's gonna be weird because you're gonna have to, you know, it's not gonna be consistent, right? If you drop your might, it's no longer gonna be good. So, but I guess it doesn't matter in PvE because you're probably gonna have might at all times and max. So this could be very interesting. Maybe Willbender. Yeah, I don't know. Relic 5, gain volatility when you successfully combo a field with a blast finisher. Blasting at the stack threshold triggers an explosion, granting increased damage. That sounds pretty fun, honestly. That sounds like a very fun relic. Maybe not the most impactful in terms of the meta, but pretty cool regardless. Relic 6, and this one is super cool. The Exodia. I'm just gonna move myself here. The Exodia relic. Gain a stacking buff upon completing certain combat triggers. When you reach the buff threshold, gain increased stats and all boons for a duration, so you become a god. Buff gain and use when using a healing skill, using an elite skill, evading an attack, disabling an enemy, and finishing a field. Must do each one. So you do all of these ones, you become powerful. Obviously, this is gonna have some sort of limitation, internal cooldown, but dude, that's so cool. I don't know. That's so awesome. I don't know. I love it. I think it's great. I think it's such a cool idea. You know, maybe you're gonna end up having builds, Exodia builds for this relic, and just go in there. The only thing you're trying to do is get, you know, do this, become powerful, do your burst. Probably bursting builds are gonna be very good with this. I'm guessing maybe like Scrapper, especially with the amount of combo fields they have, and the blast. Maybe Drown Hunter. You know, you go in there. You know, get yourself your buff and then put all your traps and you explore everything. That is so fun, honestly. This might actually be the best part of the next patch. I'm not gonna lie. Fuck the Fractal, did that. Oh, and for Fractals, that sounds absolutely great. Oh my god, that's great. Okay, right. But yeah, that's those relics. Very cool. Now let's go through the actual changes. Look at all those changes. There's so many changes. Elementalist, okay? Let's go through the... Hey, let me just put in my notes here. Because look, I'm gonna summarize this, okay? I'm not gonna just sit here and read everything, okay? That would be unhinged. First of all, general changes. Blasting a dark field now grants dark aura instead of aura blindness. Honestly, pretty cool because dark aura makes it so your incoming conditions do reduce damage. So more defensives. This is going to be definitely useful in every sort of situation, I think, in every sort of mode. And it's kind of cool to have a dark aura instead of blindness. Blindness is not fun for PvE, and it's not fun for, I don't think, PvP and Warver's World either. I feel like it's very annoying to get blinded. So, I don't know. It's kind of cool. And you're going to see the dark aura on the person. Super edgy. I don't know. You know, Guild Wars 2 players, they love the edge. So, yeah. I think this is going to be good. Next, we have Elementalist. Elementalist, Hammer is getting nerfed by 15%? No, only Flame Wheel. Flame Wheel is indeed getting a reduced damage increase from 15 to 5%, and everything else is being buffed by around, I think it was like 15%. So it seems like, you know, all those changes that they talked about for Hammer, they're finally in, they're actually going to change them, and now Hammer is indeed going to be a bit better in Elementalist, which honestly wasn't. So hopefully we can bring it back, because people were using other things, other weapons. It's kind of nice to have an option to be able to play this. Some changes on utilities that people didn't use, and particularly abilities, utilities that heal a lot. You know, they going into the support here a little bit, which is interesting because there's a little bit of a spoiler here, but Elemental Bastion is now giving alacrity. Heal allies you grant an aura to. Grant Frost aura to nearby allies, and now it also gives alacrity. And the thing is, in Elementalist, it kind of sucks because you would have to get Tempest Area in order to get yourself alacrity. And that competed with the heal trait, which made no sense because like now, do I want to heal or do I want to give alacrity? Now you can do both. Super cool. Now I'm not sure what we're going to do with Tempest Area then. Maybe there will be some other builds, maybe like a more aggressive version of the of Tempest. You can have two choices, which honestly is kind of cool. So yeah, I mean overall, super cool. Arcane Power is being rewarded into Arcane Echo. Now the skill will cause your next weapon skill to recharge instantly. The recharge of the skill is increased by the recharge of the recharged weapon skill. Super cool. Glyph of Elemental Power, which honestly was only in Condi builds, at least in PvE, and used as a stun break. Now also removes conditions on allies, on water, on air, briefly days nearby enemies, earth, grants barrier to nearby allies. Super cool implementation. A bit more powerful, a bit more useful, unlike before. Necromancer Puissance, it was kind of annoying because, you know, it was a little bit of a buff, okay? You would gain might, but as soon as you would switch to something else on fire, oh no, sorry, whenever you use Flame Explosion, there you go, it will remove your might. So now, it no longer removes that. You do the trait, you get the might, complete the Fire Overload, you unleash a Flame Explosion, but you don't remove the might, which is probably good, okay? Useful now, not useless. Blinding Ashes, this is insane. This trait will now give you, it'll make it so burning scales with power instead of content damage. So Fire Wizard, power. Fire Wizard is up, is existing now, which is insane. I'm not sure how this is going to change the builds. I'm guessing we're going to get a lot of non-fresh air power builds, which is crazy. Yeah, it's super cool. Honestly, Elementalists are really eating well today, okay, with this new patch. I saw that it's at the end of June when this comes. Putting Disruption, this trait will now grant a different boon from each cantrip instead of always granting Vigor. So now you can actually choose what to give instead of just install with Vigor, which sometimes it's good, but sometimes it's not that good. And it's good to have another choice, another thing that you can use. Arcane Lightning, this trait now grants user quickness when they use Arcane Echo, the ability that we talked about before that got reworked, Arcane Power. And the last thing, Weaver, Trailered Victory, that special CC that you would use with your lead once you use all of your attunements. Now you can cast it while moving. Super cool, because it's kind of annoying to not to be stuck there. Engineer, making all these elixirs a bit better because nobody will use them. This has longer boons. This one will heal you more for each one you have. No, not each one you converted. And this one will give will also break will stun break. That's the word. Cool. The technical rolls, this skill has now been reworked on a Rain Flashbang. Throw out an explosive shell at the target area. It explodes on impact, dazing and blinding enemies while revealing enemies in a larger radius. Cool. Something that people wouldn't use. Now they may use it. Comet Gate, an ability that will cleanse your conditions at the end of the animation. Now does it at the start. Way better quality of life, way easier to use. And bombs are also getting a bit better, just buffing them overall, which is very cool. A bit more quality of life on them as well. Fire Bomb does more damage. Concussion Bomb now dazes. Smoke Bomb is instant. It has moved to the toolbed slot and is raised by Magnet Bomb. Magnet Bomb sets an explosive that pulls in enemies after a delay. And Bigo Bomb has moved into the bomb kit, replacing Glue Bomb. It now knocks down enemies instead of launching them and now combos a blast finisher twice. Super cool. And the radius is bigger from 300 to 360. And this is the best part about this entire thing on NG. Flamethrower is getting rewarded, doing more damage, getting more burning stacks, and Napalm has been moved to the skill slot and reworked. Supercharge your flamethrower, damaging and burning enemies in a larger cone in front of you. And in the fourth slot, there's a new skill that will give you quickness and might while burning nearby enemies. Quickness, flamethrower. That's interesting. Now, of course, this will only be for you, but that's fun. Grenade kit. You would take a trait before that will make it faster, will make your grenades go faster. Now, this is baseline. So now, in this little spot, you can take some other trait if you want to. Flashbang gas is transformed into exploding entrance and grants resistance and increases critical strike. Hematic focus has been rewarded. Gain fury when you inflict bleed on an enemy. Fury has more effectiveness, so good for power and condi. Juggernaut, this trait has been moved to the master tier, replacing pinpoint distribution. This skill no longer possesses stability and instead grants stability and fire aura when you use napalm. This is going to be a huge change to the amount of stability that engineer actually gives. So we'll see how you guys feel about that. But I guess a lot of the stability will still be there, just not pulsing, right? But some of the stability will go somewhere else because the new firearms grandmaster trait, equal and opposite reaction, grants quickness and stability when you disable an enemy. Whoa! That's a lot of stability and a lot of quickness. That sounds insane, honestly. Especially in PvP and War's World. I hope that they don't go overboard with that. Iron Blooded, this trait has been rewarded and remain chain reactivities. Successfully comboing a field with blast or leaper finishers grants you barrier. Every third trigger of this trait grants a large barrier and a might. Nice. So more barrier and might. Gadgeteer also will be giving us stability instead of crippling, and will also grant some barrier instead of protection. And some Holesmith changes as well. These ones are super cool because Holesmith is kind of like in a place that not a lot of people use it. Your 5 on Holesmith will also evade now. Wait, this is so cool, honestly. Maybe I'm gonna, if I played PP, I would main this now. Maybe I'm gonna go into War's World and use this. Prime Light Beam increases the initial power coefficient in PvP, and Ben Exhaust, this trait now grants vigor on dodge in addition to its previous effect. So dodging now on Holesmith, way better, and we have another evade. So just gonna quickly interact with that. Be great. Guardian, Scepter, getting buffs. Power of Wrath, tracks their target. Change of Light, reduce cooldown. Ray of Judgment has been reworked, so now it's instead of just... Oh, and by the way, this is focus. I moved on. Now we move on to focus. Okay, these two were Scepter. These two now are gonna be focus. The 4 on focus will no longer to be to one target, it will be to a circle, and everyone in that circle will be affected by the damage ability your focus 4 on Guardian would usually get. And also, your allies will get condition cleanse and granted regeneration. Field of Wrath will get a reduced cooldown. And some Glacier changes too. Leap of Faith getting more heals, but the additional hits will heal for a lesser amount. So the first hit, more, the next ones, less. Symbol of Resolution, additional damage on the first strike. And Blinding Blade now will only be going to one enemy. Well, kind of. So you know how you spin and throw projectiles? 5 projectiles, I think it is. They will go, but they only will go to one target. So each one to one target. You can't go inside of one boss in the middle of it and pose all those 5 into one boss. It will not work, so you will no longer have to do that little mechanic to make the game, to make the amount of damage you should be doing in Greatsword. I'm not sure if that much of a fan. I think that's a very cool part of Greatsword. It'll make it easier because people won't have to use that to do an insane amount of damage. And if you don't have this knowledge, you're kind of memed. There's no way you're gonna know. So it'll probably make most Guardian players do more damage overall if they balance around it. Land of Warding, the staff 5 that prevents people from moving through it. Reduces the casting time from 1 second to 0.4. So like half. It's gonna be half. It's gonna be double the fast. Half the slow. Double the fast. Do you guys know that my first language isn't English? Well, now you know. Okay. Sin of Wrath. This skill now inflicts burning condition to produce effects. Essentially just a little bit of buff to this signet. This skill no Sin of Judgment. This skill no longer inflicts burning and now inflicts blind and weakness on enemies. Shield Avenger grants protection. Just little things to make this utilities that nobody uses a bit better. And Dragon Hunter, Heavy Light, a very cool trait that nobody uses because the other ability that you take in Grandmaster trait, which is the one where you throw the spear and you do more damage to the enemy that you has the spear on, right? Does a bit more damage. But this one gives you stability when disabling an enemy, okay? Which is super, super cool in open world and sometimes in PvE normally as well. And now the bonus damage that you usually get from enemy that is disabled or a defiant foe, so someone that cannot be disabled, will be applied to when they're exposed as well. So when you break their bar, making it a bit more consistent, making it a bit more fun, and yeah, something that maybe hopefully people will take. I think it's a good ability, especially in open world where you're just apparently getting stunned. Mesmer, staff getting some buffs because nobody uses it. I'm not sure if I'm that much of a fan because staff sucks. I hate fighting against staff ever, but you know, look, nobody's using it, I guess. So Access to Mystery finally getting fixed because it was bugged forever. Power Mirage getting a little bit of a nerf. Power block, a big important ability that you know, whenever you interrupt skills, those skills would go in a bigger cooldown. Now instead you're gonna get a damage mode. So maybe this will make it so Power Mirage is not gonna be something that people are gonna play, but that's the situation we have for now. Evasive Mirror, whenever you evade an attack, you cleanse an unguarded condition and gain swiftness. Boom. Interruption now grants might. Chrono, actually pretty interesting changes. They're giving more crit chance. Well, they're making crit chance a bit more consistent. Flow time increases crit chance for yourself and your illusions under the effects of alacrity. Danger time increases critical strike damage instead of kill chance. This way you don't have to know that your enemy is your ally. Your enemy is slowed, otherwise you don't get that crit chance, so it makes it more consistent. And improve alacrity is getting nerfed, not getting that critical strike damage because now danger time has it, so that way it's not a nerf or a buff, it's just more consistent. Illusory Reversion, this trait now grants alacrity in addition to its previous effect. It's nice. And Mirage, getting some buffs as well, making Spit Search have a reduced cooldown, doing a bit more damage. Chaos, Vortex making a bigger radius. Mirage Mantle now will make their ambush skills grant boons to nearby allies. Being the ambush skill that you give, you know, you're gonna be able to give it to someone else, which is actually very, very cool. But this doesn't mean that with one particular weapon you can go quickness Mirage. Is that a... Could you do that? That's crazy. Maybe I'm misunderstanding this, but I think that should work. Mirror Access, this trait has been reworked, renamed Phantom Pain. Insert Metal Gear Solid reference over here. And now will grant a damage bonus based on the numbers of illusions shattered. A bit of a damage buff. Dune Cloak will make it so whenever you use your Shatter skill, you will get a cooldown reduction on the Mind Rack and Cry of Procession, plus the other effects than before, like getting you Mirage Cloak. Pretty cool changes. Necromancer, it looks like a lot of things happened, and a lot. I want to say a lot. One particular important thing happened. And let's go through that, because everything else is kind of okay? Transfusion is getting reworked. Again. This time, marks can now be triggered by allies, and will heal and grant additional supportive effects to allies when triggered. So, whenever you repeat that little circle on staff, you will give boons to your allies and heal them. Essentially making heal Necromancer an actual thing. Now, you're not going to be able to go in there and heal your allies from the, from being downstage like you used to do before, which kind of sucks. But it will be a new type of build. Completely. Like, the way that this is going to play is actually going to be a healer. You're not going to... your only thing that you're gonna do in life, okay, as a Scourge, is not gonna be reviving people. It's actually gonna be healing them and giving them boons in a very particular manner, which is putting marks on them. So pretty cool gameplay, I think. And honestly, it's a good way of changing Transfusion, because people did not like the fact that they were gonna change Transfusion and take the identity away from Necromancer. But with this, making it something that is new and exciting, I think is a great way of doing it. You know, if you're gonna take away a candy from us, give us another one. And this is exactly what it does. Like, Reaper's Mag literally gives stability. Stability and Scourge, a good amount of it. That sounds nice. Lich Form also getting some changes. Hopefully we can bring it in some Condi builds. Now inflicts more bleeding, has a lower cooldown, giving more chills and corrupting on hit. Sounds great. Some changes to these abilities here, making them a bit, better quality of life and a bit less cooldown on some of them. Just buffs overall on this ones. Signal Suffering, trying to make it work, making the life siphon a bit bigger and the life healing on it a bit bigger too. And oh my god, Harbinger's health percentage decreased from 1.5 to 1% in PvE only. Thank god. Harbinger is one of the biggest, most amount of, they do so much damage, okay? Especially in convergences. And you can't do it because you end up with like 3k health, okay? Because of the blight health percentage they lose. But now, maybe it'll actually be useful. We'll see. I'll have to test it on June 26th when this comes out. But sounds fun. Wish this patch was coming before. Ranger, no other changes. Just some changes to Torch over here, making it a bit more useful because nobody uses it. Maybe some Condi, Condi Ranger could come back. Quick Draw now grants a quickness in addition to its previous effects. Light on your feet now triggers any Ranger skill that evades. Increase the effect duration from 4 to 6. So really trying to make some traits that nobody's using and some builds that nobody's using a bit more useful. Soul Beast, Unstoppable Union, gain protection when entering or leaving beast mode. Kind of cool, kind of useful compared to what we had before, I guess. Before it was only entering, now it's entering and leaving, but a bit less powerful. I'm guessing this is going to be something that you mainly use in PvE, right? Or what was old. Untamed, or Cleansing Unleash, now will be in the bar, so you can actually track it. Good. And Service Strikes, this trait has been reworked and now called Biorhythm. When you or your pet unleash, gain a stack of biorhythm every interval for a duration, granting a percentage of strike damage as healing. When you reach the biorhythm stack threshold, the next time you or your pet unleash, gain bonuses from Bow of the Untamed. So kind of an interesting trait. I'm seeing. I wonder what people are gonna cook with this. It's kind of a cool little idea here. So we'll see. Revenant. Changes to on the Rev to Malix, making all the damage that usually you would see in the Elite coming into the other abilities instead. And Call of Anguish now gets a follow-up skill that leaps in place and slams the ground. Isn't that cool? Brutality now no longer removes stability while striking with quickness, and instead causes you to deal increased damage when you strike a foe that has protection or stability. Big change there. Aggressive agility now gives resistance. Renegade, Righteous Revel will make it so you can heal a bit more. They're really trying to make that Renegade heal thing a thing, which is weird because I don't think it's gonna work. But I guess they're trying. And it's kind of weird because of the next thing, which is that Vindicator is becoming heal now. You're gonna be able to heal on Vindicator and give alacrity. Before you could heal on Vindicator, but nothing would really happen. You're not giving any boons that are important. Now you can. Okay, you can give alacrity with Saint's Sualcer when you dodge, plus the other things, which is going to be more heals. And you're going to give protection with while below the health threshold, heal allies in an area, and cleanse the conditions. And now also, boom, grant protection. Oh no, wait, I'm being dumb. They reworked it. When you use a heal skill, you will grant protection and heal nearby allies. That's what they changed. Boom. Way more consistent than just waiting for you to get hit. Way better. Thief, a lot of changes too. They're making a few amount of changes on Deadly Arts to make it a bit more useful. Queen of Shadows now gains Dark Aura just to pair up with the thing that we talked about before, how Dark Aura does something else now. Buffing some abilities damage and some initiative costs. Black Powder, for example. Shadow Savior also gets Dark Aura. The Thief is so edgy now. Core of Shadows, when you still create a field around yourself that grants protection to allies. Gaining Dark Aura removes a condition from nearby allies. So now we have a little bit of a connection. When you get Dark Aura, you also remove a condition from nearby allies. Bringing it up with a few of Spectre changes that you were getting more buffs, more boons from every one of the Shadow Shroud abilities. The trade no longer uses maximum initiative, giving you more initiative on Spectre. And because of this, some of the changes on these abilities have, the initiative has gone up because of this change. But overall, it seems like Spectre is really becoming, hopefully this patch, an actual heal build. The Dark Aura Healer. And some changes to Daredevil as well, trying to make Condi a little bit better. Escapade is further to increase the base healing from 150 to 300 PvP. Distracting Tires. Interrupting a foe with skill no longer increases the cooldown of the interrupted skill and instead grants the user initiative on a damage increase. It really seems like they don't like this type of gameplay. You increase the cooldown of the interrupted skill of your enemy. They did the same thing with Power Mirage, so makes sense to do it here too. And the last thing is Warrior. Warrior didn't really get a lot. Okay, Eviscerate. The range is bigger and has a 100% crit chance now. Sorry, not 100, 50%. But with your normal crit chance, you're gonna get to 100% with Eviscerate, making a crit at all, a lot. So if you get hit by Eviscerate, oof, it's gonna hurt. And the power damage on it on PP and Warp Assault is also going up. Cyclone Axe, giving you more Fury Throw Axe, making a bit less good because before you would get like an insane amount of damage buff when the target health was very low. Now it's gonna be less. Still there, but that way you're not running away and you just get one shot by a little throwing axe. Mace? Wow, Mace, guys! We're getting stun duration bigger! Whoa, that's crazy! Oh my god, Counter Brawl! This skill that can be activated to strike enemies! Oh, increasing a lesser amount of vulnerability! Whoa! The skill no longer grants adrenaline when it ends, and now grants adrenaline when you strike an enemy. The power efficiency is going up in PP and Warrior. This is such a game changer! What are we gonna do while everyone's gonna be playing Warrior? Probably not. 100 Blades, doing more damage. I like that one, okay? Nobody uses Greatsword. I want to use Greatsword. Give me more damage on 100 Blades. Some buffs on Hammer for Spellbreaker as well on the traits. Sounds good. Body Blow now gives vulnerability instead of bleeding. Berserker, getting a little more heal on Dead or Alive whenever you actually exit or enter Berserker mode. Not sure if I'm like this would be cool if you would do this in PvE, I think, but I hate Berserker and the amount that it heals in PvP and War Result. I don't like that. Okay, so I wish this wasn't the case. Heat the Soul gains more quickness. Now Berserker quickness, guys, nobody uses it because it's so annoying to actually be able to play it off. You have to play perfectly. Now it's going to be a bit easier, so hopefully people that do bring it will give it enough quickness that it's right. Bladestorm getting some positive flow stack buffs. So whenever you miss your burst, you're fine. It's not that punishing. Some abilities that would give you defense no longer have a internal cooldown. So regardless of how many times you're going to run trigger here, you're going to get yourself stability. No matter how many times you use your round of ammo, you'll be able to get yourself a reduction on your warrior skills, which is actually kind of cool. I'm not going to lie. Giving us more reasons to go into our gun sword. Unshakable Mountain giving us more barrier when you convert flow into charges. Some more defense. And some changes to Dragon Spike Mine, making it so it no longer does an explosion. It no longer has a mine. it will just do an explosion just because. Who knows why? it just happens. Detonated cartridges will be replaced by supercharged cartridges. Causes your remaining overcharged cartridges to increase explosion damage even more. Okay. And artillery slash ammo count from 2 to 2 in PvE only. And now dazes. So we'll actually give some CC in PvE. Yeah, that's a big thing about Bladestone. You have no CC on Bladestone. So now you have a little bit of it. That's actually kind of cool. Bladestone is in a bad spot though. I don't think it's going to be enough, but it'll give me a little bit more hope to actually try it out a little bit. But I don't know. Thank you very much for watching us. That's all about it. Tell me what you guys think about this beautiful patch. I think it's actually pretty good. The warrior part is kind of bad, but everything else is kind of good. And I'm very excited to see all these builds that come out. Tell me what you guys think. Tell me what you guys think. And remember, if you came in here to the last part of the video, guys, there's a 500 gold giveaway happening right now. If you go into the comments down below, you're going to see it, okay? You're going to have to subscribe to the channel and follow the instructions in there, okay? So go, boom, blast. See you around. Love you all. Subscribe. Bye.